Travis Scott is someone who can be called an A-list rapper. He's known for his records, his concerts, and his relationship with Kylie Jenner. But he's also known for a number of pretty questionable choices. Here's what we unearthed on the shady side of Travis Scott. Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner began dating publicly in 2017 during Coachella, but 2 years later, they put their relationship on hold. The break came after it was rumored that Scott cheated on Jenner with model Roisin Carr. He denied this on Instagram. Scott posted, "It's really affecting when you see false things said about you. Once again, these false stories about me cheating are just simply not true. Focusing on life, music, and family at this moment is what's real." Carr also responded to the cheating rumor on Instagram, writing, "None of these rumors are true. It's just the internet creating a false narrative. Please stop spreading lies and leave us alone because it's affecting real lives. Thank you." That wasn't the only time talk of cheating put a dent in Scott and Jenner's relationship. In early 2019, the rapper postponed a show during his Astroworld Wish You Were Here tour. He flew back west to deal with allegations that he was unfaithful to Jenner. The couple eventually got back together. With an Instagram post in September 2021, Kylie Jenner announced that she and Scott were having their second child. The first celeb ever to have his own McDonald's meal was Michael Jordan in 1992. Decades later, Travis Scott became the first musician to score a deal with the fast food chain. In September of 2020, the rapper drove to a McDonald's in Downey, California to promote his meal. A massive crowd formed. Scott then got on top of a car, danced, and signed autographs. Afterwards, he was fined $200 for failing to secure a film permit and for not being authorized to hold an event with over 200 people. Then, in February 2021, the rapper was investigated by Los Angeles city officials after he gathered another huge crowd in West Hollywood to promote his issue of ID magazine. If there's anyone who knows how to ignore a city protocol, it's Mr. Scott. Travis Scott doesn't have a reputation for being a fighter or even a hothead, but he got into arguments with two of his fellow rappers, Meek Mill and Tory Lanez. In the situation with Mill, Scott argued with him at a fancy schmancy party in the Hamptons in July 2021. However, it's unclear what the two rappers were beefing over. The dispute with Lanez was revealed in March 2018 after a video leaked. The argument was allegedly about Lanez responding to an accusation that he hijacked Travis Scott's flow while featured on Mill's song Liddy. Allegedly, Scott approached Lanez over a tweet that Lanez had posted which said, "I can't sound like somebody I wrote for." And that's when things went awry. But thankfully, cooler heads won that day and no punches were thrown. In 2016, former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick began kneeling for the national anthem before games to protest racial injustice and police brutality in the United States. Fast forward to 2019, when Travis Scott was tapped to play at the Super Bowl with Maroon 5 and Outkast Big Boy. Nick Cannon blasted Scott for accepting while explaining why it was okay for Big Boy to perform. Cannon implied that Scott didn't care about social justice. This was also said of Scott after he spoke about Mike Brown's death on Hot 97 in 2014. Scott said,
"And I'm not saying he deserved to get killed.
He didn't.
But I'm not saying that he didn't deserve to pay for consequences that he probably inflicted."
In 2020, after George Floyd was murdered by a Minneapolis police officer, Scott did an about-face on social justice while talking on his Wave radio show. Scott admitted, "I was young and might have just been misinformed." Florida rapper Denzel Curry was harassed by Travis Scott's fans in 2020, but was not afraid to address the backlash on social media. It all had to do with an opinion that he gave during a Twitter Q&A when someone asked if he'd ever work with the Houston rapper, in which Curry tweeted, "His attitude is funky." Afterward, the rapping Floridian sent a message saying how Scott's fans were angry with him for, quote, keeping it real about the rapper. He also wrote that he has Scott, quote, stans and people with, quote, no hairline sending him mean messages for calling Scott's attitude funky. Travis Scott's song Highest in the Room has nearly 500,000 views on YouTube. The 2019 single also went #1 on Billboard, but a Danish producer named Benjamin Lasnier said neither of those things would be possible without the head-nodding guitar riff that floats through the song, which he claimed Travis Scott stole. Lasnier claimed he uploaded the riff to his Instagram page and later sent it to Jimmy Cash Lepper, a person who works with Scott. Lasnier then supposedly heard a variation of the riff on Travis Scott's Highest in the Room. The producer then sued Scott for his cut of the profits, saying that the track has pulled in more than $20 million. Scott was also sued by 3 6 Mafia's DJ Paul for allegedly stealing the hook to their 1997 song Tear the Club Up. DJ Paul claims the hook was used on Scott's No Bystanders record released in 2018. It's not clear how much Paul received, but Rolling Stone reported in 2019 that both rappers settled the suit. Paul is now credited as a writer on No Bystanders, as are the other 3 6 Mafia members, so everything turned out well for everyone. In 2015, Travis Scott ramped up his audience to a fever pitch when he played at Chicago's Lollapalooza and invited the crowd to leap over the barricades. He yelled at security as fans made their way to the stage. "Everybody in the green shirt, get the f*** back."
Thank you for everything you saved my life.
As security continued to get overwhelmed, a mini riot broke out, mostly on stage, and Chicago police got involved. After fleeing the scene, Travis Scott was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct. A fan from the riot faced the same charge. Scott was released on bail, but did the rapper learn his lesson about starting riots? The answer would have to be a no. According to TMZ in 2017, after performing in Rogers, Arkansas, Scott was booked for inciting a riot, endangering welfare of a minor, and disorderly conduct. Travis Scott was $150,000 richer after being paid to perform at a pre-Super Bowl concert in 2018 at Myth nightclub in Minneapolis. The company said that Scott never showed up and canceled his performance just hours before hitting the stage. The promoters had to say goodbye to the advance and the dough they spent on promoting the show, plus securing a private jet for the rapper. Scott was supposed to be paid $200,000 total, so he had already pocketed most of the money before rapping a word. Event company PJam sued Scott, but he countersued, claiming that the company didn't provide him with agreed-upon travel arrangements. Scott was ultimately ordered to pay over $382,000 in spring 2019. Scott's attorney, Howard King, told TMZ, "The verdict was disappointing but far less than the 7-figure demands made by the promoters." The rapper blamed the weather and scheduling issues for ghosting the gig, but he did show up to other scheduled shows that same night, like one in Las Vegas, which certainly didn't help his case. They may be from 2 different generations and musical genres, but that didn't keep Travis Scott and Motley Crue's Tommy Lee from getting into a beef over a roller coaster of all things. In 2018, during Scott's The Astroworld Wish You Were Here tour, he rapped on stage while going upside down on an actual roller coaster. Tommy Lee did something similar on a Motley Crue tour in 2011 by playing the drums upside down on a coaster built for the stage. Lee wrote on Instagram, "Just found out this f***ing idiot Travis Scott or someone on his team ripped off the 360 and the Crucify. WTF?" In a separate post with another coaster comparison, Lee added, "Get an original idea, bro. I get copying is a form of flattery, but this is just straight ripping off my sh**." Scott's attorney quickly shut down Lee's, quote, outburst and said he didn't come up with the roller coaster idea. The veteran drummer then shot back and claimed that Scott hired the same company, SGPS, to design the set, which, in his mind, proved Scott stole the idea. Lee dropped his beef with Scott, but it's safe to assume he won't be playing drums on the rapper's future songs. In a 2021 interview with L'Officiel, Travis Scott admitted that he owns so many vehicles he can't even name them all. During that discussion, the rapper spoke at length about his love for purchasing cars and how he also loves to custom design them. But just because Scott is passionate about cars doesn't mean he's an expert driver. That was evident in 2016 when he was seen backing his Lamborghini into another vehicle while leaving a parking spot. The Texas native was at Glendale Galleria in Southern California at the time. Fortunately, for all parties involved, there wasn't any harm done to either car. Maybe Scott should do the whole cliché rich person thing and hire a chauffeur. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more Nicki Swift videos about your favorite musicians are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.